Okay, I think, yep, we're live. Hey guys, Rob Skiba here with another testingtheglobe.com video presentation dealing with our high altitude balloon launch. And I have with me Victor Brewer from the Explosive Truth YouTube channel. You guys might want to check that out for sure. Victor, I've brought him on to discuss. Here it is, June 24th, so it's 12 days since our launch. And we're getting ready to do another one. So I thought it'd be cool to have Victor on and kind of discuss, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? Just sort of have an aftermath discussion on what we did and maybe discuss some things about what we could do better for the next one. So, hey, Victor, how you doing, man?
Hey, Rob. Hey, everybody out there. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, wow, we got 137 views already. just got
That's
started.
quick. It's always a surprise to me how many people are just like, "Oh my gosh, they're on!"
154. Cool. Well, hey guys, how you guys doing? Thanks for joining us this evening. Very cool. I wonder if there's a way I can kind of monitor the chat on this and see if there's any cool conversations going on. Let me see if I can check that out. Because maybe we can do a little Q&A.
Q&A, exactly.
I know there's a lot of people that if you go to, I'm going to do a screen share here and show the previous video that I uploaded just, I guess, yesterday. Yeah, June 23rd. I condensed, basically, our day started, well, you pulled an all-nighter, basically. So
I did. It was rough.
Yeah, your day started the day before. It went like, 48 hours or whatever. But
Overdrive.
From my perspective, Rick Hummer and I arrived about 5 after 7 that morning, and the whole adventure lasted, man, I want to say a good at least 4, if not 5 hours.
Yeah.
And of course, Rick streamed it live on his Facebook page with his phone. And so what my goal was I was running camera, you had guys running cameras, and Rick was using his phone. So all I had access to really was Rick's footage and the footage that I shot. I didn't have your footage. So I took, what we had and condensed 4 or 5 hours worth of our adventure into about an hour and 18 minutes. So it's, quite compressed, but, obviously there's lots of comments. People saw it. A lot of people are excited about what we did and everything. That's cool. But of course, a lot of people have advice for us, and many of the things people are saying, of course, we're smacking ourselves in the head in hindsight, going, yeah, we should have. There's always the shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Always.
That there's a lot of variables that go into this, and you think you've got your bases covered, and just to reiterate on something. When we were talking about this video right here on June 16th, I put up Rob Skiba, Rick Hummer, and Victor Brewer plan to bust Mythbusters. And at the end of that video, it's us talking about our plans and what we were hoping to accomplish and what we're intending to do. And, I have shots right here of you showing the preliminary launch, because we did do a test just to see, basically people had told you if it's your first balloon launch, a lot of people, they lose the balloon pops, things happen, a lot. Expect a tragedy.
Yeah.
And the worst thing basically that happened on that was you didn't have enough battery going to the gimbal. So
that was it. Yeah, it really went well for the first launch. In fact, the guy at the company, he's a New Yorker, and you know how New Yorkers are. I've got lots of relatives in New York, but they're famed for being rude. But he actually begrudgingly congratulated me after he's like, yeah, didn't lose it. Okay, great, good.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. And it was, but that was the consensus from everyone we talked to, was just, oh, you're gonna lose it. No, everyone loses their first balloon.
Well, we didn't lose the balloon or the gimbal. And you had the gimbal quite well secured to the bottom of the thing in the previous launch, and you just did the same thing for the launch that we just did on the 12th. And everybody's like, well, oh, a bunch of idiots, you didn't have a tracker on the camera, stupid. Well, look, we had a tracker on the box that the camera was attached to.
We actually had 3 trackers on the box. I had triple redundancy on tracking. I had
but it's all in the box.
It is all in the box, exactly. And that's one of the things that So as penance for my all-nighter and forgetting the zip ties, I went out and bought a $100 worth of zip ties. I'm not even kidding. I literally went out and bought 400 like of the strongest cold weather zip ties I could get. You know what's interesting? I actually found zip ties that are, this is totally off subject, but I found special zip ties that are about $3 a pop. I didn't buy those ones, but because they don't let you buy them in less than 100 or the less than 100 packs of 100. And I just never had seen these zip ties. They were bizarre. They were these super cold weather zip ties, which I kind of wish I had some for our next launch. But I did buy some standard cold weather zip ties, and they're like 50-pound break strength. And I had my business partner try to. He loves doing the old handcuff escape with zip ties and snacking because he's kind of like He-Man. And I zip tied him up. I said, "Can you break this one?" And he couldn't break that one. So I think that's a good one to use. So we're pretty happy with our scientific testing there.
Nice. Well, I mean, we certainly didn't expect that we would lose the gimbal because
No,
the preliminary tests
yeah, it went
went
so
great.
well. Yeah,
The camera was, of course, secured as best we could to the bottom of the thing anyway. I mean, it was securely attached. It wasn't like just
yeah. No, basically the way gimbals attach is they have these really strong rubber grommets, and essentially, like when I hook it onto a drone, this is how I hook it onto a drone. It's the exact same way, and we didn't hook it on any differently than we would have hooking it onto a drone. So that was one of the things. But on the first launch, I normally am very anal about these sort of things. And I looked at it and said, you know what? This thing's going to space. I don't want to lose the camera gimbal. I'm zip tying the sucker. And that's what I did the first time. And it just, honestly, it was lack of sleep. And it was the camera breaking because we had a Hero 4 break at 1:30 a.m. And I was literally, I had the zip, you could see back when we were back in the office, the zip ties were literally laying on the table. I had laid out the zip ties and I was getting ready to zip tie it, but I was fitting the camera in first. And then when the camera didn't turn on, it just totally distracted me. And I went into overdrive, replacing grabbing another GoPro, replacing the lens, and just trying to salvage that night because I had the gimbal fail on me that night before we went out to dinner. The gimbal crapped out, and so when I got back, I had to fix that. So I fixed that, and then the rest of the night was me just packing things, and it was rough.
The best laid plans of mice and men, they say, right? And you have everything you think going great, and then stuff starts falling apart. And so, yes, the original plan was to have 3 GoPros running, one on the gimbal with the 7.2 millimeter lens, one attached to the side that would be your standard GoPro, so we could have a comparison to show the difference. Because that was our primary objective, was to show people, look, here's what a GoPro looks like normally, the fisheye, and here's what the human eye says, and here's the difference, and the camera on the top. And so basically what happened is you're telling us that the original 7.2 millimeter GoPro on the bottom crapped out, and so you had the other one.
Yeah, the one that had been to space, basically.
The one that had been to space the first time. So so that one had already gone through a fair amount of trauma.
It really had. It really had. But it was interesting because it worked for about 3 or 5. Well, actually, it worked for like 5 days because we had turned it on. I'd used it to record. I'd used it to record stuff, just B-roll of setting up for the second launch. And so that was what was fascinating to me, is it had worked for several days before it just decided, hey, I'm not working anymore.
Yeah, of course, and that happens at 1 o'clock in the morning, 6 hours before launch.
Exactly. It's just like, okay, this camera, I literally had tested it for 2 or 3 days by recording around the office of what we were doing to set up for this, and that's what was so bizarre. Just like, okay, yeah, this is what's going to happen. Well, we still launched. Hey, we still launched, and we still got a camera and a box back, and we almost caught it in our hands. That to me was pretty awesome. That
what amazed me about that was I mean, I condensed it in this video. Well, not this one. In this video, I condensed the whole day, including because Rick was rolling live the whole time when we got in the car. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna keep rolling. Yeah. And I mean, we were driving around for probably a good 15, 20 minutes or so. I mean, it seemed
waiting for it to come down. I know it was.
Well, it amazed me that it took that long for the, I figured with free fall, more than half of that distance would have been very quick.
Yeah.
But I guess it just shows how high 118,000 feet really is. I mean,
It's really high.
it took, I mean, it did. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but because even with the edited version here,
Yeah.
our trip in the car and the dialogue that Rick and I are having is still about a good 15 minutes. And I cut a whole lot of stuff out. So it had to be probably 20 minutes from the time we left the barn until we got to
Yeah.
that field.
How'd you
So
like Andy's place? It's pretty fun, wasn't it?
that was a blast, man. That was
Yeah.
like the coolest thing ever. And yeah, like, I mean, you could tell that all of us were having a great time when you look
Yeah.
at the footage again. And, I mean, just the excitement of it all. But I mean, you got a whole garage full of tech nerds and geeks and,
Yeah. It was awesome. It really was.
it was cool. But okay, so, several things to cover here. This was your first balloon launch preliminary box.
Yes.
And you had stabilizer fins on it.
Yes.
Now, we discussed, and it didn't make it into the film because I don't think I had my camera rolling when we discussed it, but we discussed the idea for the one that we did on the 12th of having, basically a cone type shape in the front and a fin in the back, basically creating a weather vane.
Yeah.
To keep it pointed into the wind so it wouldn't spin.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when your camera crapped out at you 6 hours before launch, that became a low priority.
Yeah, it did very quickly.
So obviously for the next one, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of research into that stabilization, and the cone, actually, there's a guy, his name's, let me pull up his name, Daryl Hodges, I believe his name. He's on YouTube, and he literally just has video after video after video of him testing different stabilization systems for the payload box of balloons, and he's basically built a little cheap wind tunnel, and it's really awesome, so I was watching a lot of his stuff, and he does a lot of launches, and I'm going to call it the choo-choo train weather vane because that's what it kind of reminds me of. He tested that very shape, and it honestly was terrible. I couldn't believe it.
Really?
But he has another one that kind of reminds me of like a rocket sled with two fins. And I know it's like a weird description, but here, let me share my screen with you real quick. And how do I do that? Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I pretend to be a nerd, but I'm not always. There's the screen there. Let me pull up YouTube.
Okay, let me switch screens so we're looking at your stuff there.
Yeah. Let me switch to Daryl. So one of the funny things that he does, Daryl Hedges is his name, and
yeah. Somebody referred me to him recently. Said you got to watch his stuff. He's done some balloon launches.
Yeah. So he's done a lot of balloon launches, and what's really interesting is see how he's got all these payload tests. Here's the one that I feel like we were talking about, the part 11. This one,
oh yeah,
it just it didn't work. This one he says is the best one he's created, and this one really was pretty amazing. Now, the only thing this isn't accounting for is he doesn't have wind blowing down on it. I still think that our kind of rocket fin style worked really well the first time, and it kind of blew my mind how well it worked. And I think the main thing that works well about it is it prevents the swing. See, preventing the spin is good, and it's a great thing to do. But at the same time, we really need to prevent too is this. I think the swing caused more torsion on the neck of the balloon than anything else. And to get higher, I really think that we need to make sure that we just have as little torsion possible on that neck. Let's see if it'll do it. I am really taxing my little poor cell phone right now.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, Victor's
let's
on
stream.
hotspot on his phone right now, having this conversation with me.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn it off. I'll turn it back over to you here. I'm turning off my screen. But anyway, yeah, Daryl Hedges. He's a good guy. At least looks like he does good work. So I want to use his expertise in that. Oh, there we got a
infinity and beyond.
I've got an infinity screen. All right, there we go. So anyway, yeah, I really want to try to rely on his expertise to really help stabilize our payloads. But one of the main things that we really need to do, and I just didn't do, we didn't prepare for, and it's really stupid simple, are the ball bearing fishing swivels.
Mhm.
Those are so simple. I mean, they will help so much, I think. It seems like every professional that I see launching these balloons, because now that I'm delving into this, my specialty is aerial imaging. You know that, Rob, and a lot of people know that. But heck, I just want to figure out a market for balloons. They're so fun. They're more fun than drones. People are like, "Oh, you get to play with drones." I'm like, "Man, I want to play with balloons now."
Well, why not? NASA does.
Yeah, right.
NASA spends more money than anybody on helium, probably.
It is absolutely. Aren't they? Is the military the largest consumer of helium, or is NASA, or is
Uh,
it just the government in general?
Probably the government in general.
Yeah, that's one of those interesting things. But anyway, so yeah, I think the ball bearings and employing one of the fin methods, and I really think I'm going to lean towards his exact shape. But having Jim in the office, I don't know if you met Jim while you were there. Jim runs Monto RC and Avroto, and he develops drone motors and that sort of thing. We have this motor testing station, and we might rig it vertically and kind of horizontally set up because we've got just hundreds of motors there that we have. So we might set up a big honking motor blowing about 40. We can get about 40-mile-an-hour wind out of one of these motors. So we might just do like a dual method, like one blowing down on the box and one blowing sideways, just to see if we could get really good stabilization with Gerald Hedges' proclaimed best method. That's kind of what I want to check. But I'm pretty confident. I mean, his stuff looks good. Honestly, his stuff looks really good.
Yeah. Now, if you look at the video I just put up there at
Yeah.
about 8:26,
Yeah.
we have Brandon there holding the balloon,
Yeah.
and he's about ready to launch it. And I do a pan up. Now, first of all, look how long this rope is.
Yeah.
I mean, we
It,
got like
it, it was it was long.
just crazy long. Uh, so that thing was just swinging all over the place.
Yep.
So obviously we want to go shorter with the rope next time. But
Mm-hmm.
here's something. Rope. I think I caught it in time here. Um, Actually, this is supposed to be able to go back like 10 seconds, I think, or something like that. Okay, hang on. All right, right there. Cool. All right, so here's my thought. Looking at the aftermath, when we finally found the payload and the balloon wrapped around the rope and the parachute was inverted.
It was weird. It was
Well,
seriously. Yeah.
it makes sense to me. It's like, okay, if you imagine this popping, now,
Mm-hmm.
when everything free falls, it's probably going to stay pretty close to this configuration as it's free falling.
Mm-hmm.
The weight of the balloon may have fell down this way and caused everything to invert because the parachute, you've got the balloon tied to the top of the parachute right here.
Yeah.
So you have the parachute tied to the payload and the balloon tied to the parachute.
Mm-hmm.
But when this weight comes down, that's going to pull down on the top of the parachute, which is the part that we need to inflate.
You're right. What I think what's weird is if you could you so your internet's a little better. Would you pull up Daryl Hedges' site again, because he's got some really cool slow mo descents, because he's done cameras like straight up. And if you go to his channel,
What's his name again?
Daryl Hedges, DERYL or something. I don't know. Daryl Hedges. Yeah. Yep. You got it.
Hedges, Daryl Hedges, 53 videos. Does that sound familiar?
Balloon guy.
Balloon guy.
Seriously?
Well, let's just try it.
Let's try it. Yeah.
Okay. That's yeah.
Okay, so the first one right there. See that first one? That's a rupture. I'm afraid that's what's happening to our balloon. It's not. Click on it real quick. What you'll see with that is the balloon is only tearing. So watch. It's really interesting.
Oh, so he's got a camera pointing straight up at the balloon. That's kind of cool.
Exactly. See how it tears when it ruptures?
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So he's got his rig set up exactly the same as ours, except he's got a ring right there that holds the parachute lines open. So now look at go back again, and he's got really cool slow motion burst. I'm not quite sure which one. Yeah, this is a time lapse up. This one's okay. If you go to where's videos, just straight up videos.
It doesn't have that many videos on this one.
He actually has 50 something. You go hit
It must be
over
a
there.
different guy. Maybe it's a
No,
different.
there's the over arrow actually. If you go back, see, he's got 53 videos. You see the over arrow right there? It's just a weird layout.
Oh, this.
Yeah, right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, yeah. High altitude mission burst.
Yeah, the slow motion burst. Yeah, those ones
Okay,
are
yeah.
really
Here's
cool.
the swivel that we're talking about.
Yeah, he
Right.
tested all the swivels, and the one I literally went out as soon as I finished that video. I went out and bought the best one out of his test.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I did. I've been watching this guy, and I really like his stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So here's his. This is a balloon burst.
So it's interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah, see how it ruptures? That's how it should happen. See how it throws most of the material away,
Yeah,
or at
ours
least
didn't do that. Ours, we had a lot of material.
exactly. And that's what when I called Kmart Balloons. They're the guys that have been
Wow.
providing us the balloon with the balloons. What they were telling me is these larger balloons, everyone underfills them.
Huh.
And so we're underfilling them where these balloons are filled to the correct, fill rate for their size, and they're rupturing correctly. Our balloon,
Look at that.
basically, yeah, I know, it's so cool. It is so cool. The way it shreds.
Wow. That's crazy.
I know. And so there's your son looking up. I thought that was kind of cool. So that's what I really think we need to do is we need to make sure we're filled where we're going up, 5.7, 5.8 meters a second. And that really should help us a lot, honestly.
Well, here's my thought, and
Yeah.
let me undo the screen share here.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Do I have a ring or something here?
Well, you're right. We need a ring because in all his videos he's got a ring. That's something else.
I'm thinking. Here's some electrical tape, but I'm thinking, okay, if we have, like, let's say this is a metal ring, and it's not nearly this thick, but you get the picture.
Yeah.
And we have the payload attached here to the bottom of the ring, and we have another, if we have a loop that goes to the parachute that's just hanging on there, and we have the balloon on there, so you have 3 attachments to this ring. And then when the balloon pops, if there's any weight at all to it, then it's just going to slide down and be dead weight, just like the payload. And the wind's going to take the parachute.
So it's a good thought. My only fear is on the ascent, that parachute hanging limp may twist around the lines.
Hanging limp, and it could cause drag too if the parachute opens as it's going up. So there's an interesting thought there. Yeah, I hear you on that.
So there's a couple things.
Sense.
Yeah, it's a great thought, the whole swinging sideways, but I really feel like what we should do is kind of stick to what seems to be the industry standard.
Well, yeah, if this guy's apparently like one of the experts out there,
yeah, it seems to be working, whatever he's doing,
Yeah.
But
why reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah, that's my thought, especially at the last minute. But you're right. We should take what he's done, and one of the things that we haven't done, and I see everybody doing that's really interesting, is that ring in between the parachute and the payload. Well, actually, I'm sorry, the parachute. Yeah, the parachute. The ring is in between the parachute and the payload, and it's actually holding the lines open. All 4 lines are tied at different points. See, with our parachute, they were tied together, and which allows them to twist. This way, it automatically untwists, and the parachute automatically opens. And my other thought for the balloon, this is my thought. I want to attach the balloon with a strong fishing line. And I think if the balloon starts to wrap up really hard, this fishing line will tear. It's a 50-pound fishing line, but I've been able to, like, if I'm really trying to tear it, it'll break. Whereas the other rope I have is a 37-pound rope, and I can't tear it, like, just between 2 hands because it's just a thicker, it feels stronger. And maybe it's just a mental thing, I don't know, but I have been unable to just tear through that rope, whereas with the fishing line, if you get a good grip on it, you can tear it. You can get enough tension on it. So I'm wondering if we do something like that to where if the balloon starts to tangle things, it'll just tear off. You know what I mean? Was kind of my hope.
Yeah.
But,
here's the guy I always think of. It's not the same guy.
Dwayne Kellum.
Kellum. Yeah, he's another guy. Somebody just posted it in the chat room. He's done a bunch of launches too. And also, like in this particular one, high altitude balloon 1, he had a GoPro Black with a 4.35 millimeter lens, which I've seen this before too. And I'm trying to remember if it was on.
Oh yeah, I've seen this guy. Yeah, it's Jaren. Yeah, Jarenism.
Yeah, I think Jern, it was well, Jern hasn't put one up, and I'm pretty sure the one, I don't know if it was from this guy or from somebody else, but he mirrored somebody else's launch. You know,
Yeah.
he put it up with the 5.35 millimeter lens. Now, we were using the 7.2, and if you look at the difference here, let's see, 4.35. So this is the one that he had. Let me put that in a
Yeah.
different one. I saw another one with a 5.4, and we
Hmm.
used the 7.2.
Yep.
So just kind of comparing these.
So
The
one of the things I did before I started looking for lenses, if you go to Rage Cams, that's another website that sells lenses, Rage Cams, and they're out of Michigan. Um, they have some really nice comparisons as far as the just photos from every single lens,
right.
and it works really well. Now, what I did, I went beyond that. So what I did is I went on YouTube and I started typing in GoPro 4.35, GoPro 5.4. You know, those are the main like wide angle, quote unquote, non-distorted lenses.
Right.
But the real telltale evidence, you know as well as I, for these lenses is when you're looking out. So I was looking for drone videos using these lenses. Whenever they pitch down and you have a clear view of the horizon, if you see any curve in a drone video, you know they're distorting. The lens is distorting it. You know it.
Mm-hmm.
And every single one of those had it, the 5.4 and the 4.35.
Yeah, that was what concerned me
Yeah.
as I was looking at the
Yeah.
comparisons, and one of it was because of the field of view right here. The 4.35 has a 72-degree field of view.
That's pretty wide.
That's very wide.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as well. It's about what half. What is a standard GoPro, like 130 or something? Standard GoPro?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe it is like right around 120, 130, something like that.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. It was
Yeah.
something like that. So that's, you know, this is somewhere in maybe the halfway mark on that. So that was one of the things that concerned me. Also, that it's 35 millimeter equivalent is really 24, and we were trying to get as close to the human eye, and the human
Yeah.
eye, you know, is in the somewhere between 35 and 50. You know,
Yeah.
depending on who you talk to. So this was below that. So it's this, to me, this qualified itself as a lens that would be comparable to the human eye. In addition to the fact, even though it's not going to give you a fisheye effect, it's
Yeah.
still got a pretty decent field of view.
And
And
it's got
the only way
barrel
you're going to get
distortion.
that with the lens is that, like this, is to have some sort of
Yeah.
barrel distortion.
Exactly.
So then you have the one that's in between that one and the one that we used.
Which I have. I own one of those. It's sitting back at my shop right on the desk. Actually, I had two of those, and it's the same thing. When I bought those from my drone company a long time ago, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to get any more curved horizons, because I hate correcting curved horizons. I hate it. It's just annoying. But no, when I took that thing up to shoot, I would still get curved horizons, and you still have to do distortion correction.
Now, just to clarify, this is curved horizons at like 1,000 feet up.
This is curved horizons at like 100 feet up.
Yeah. Okay. See, now this is the other pet peeve I have with everybody that sends me footage. I'm like, why are you focusing on the footage at 100,000 feet that has a apparent curvature that's identical to the curvature that was 15 feet off the ground when the thing took off? When you know that if you're standing on the roof of your house, you're not seeing curvature.
And that is a fair criticism. I mean, it really is. And Rob, I don't know how much your viewers know as far as where I stand on the channel that we're doing on the Explosive Truth. We're really trying to come at it being as unbiased as possible, trying to say, okay, we see what we see. That I lean more personally towards a stationary globe. That's just kind of personally where I lean, but I don't care either way.
Yeah.
I really don't. In fact, if we could prove that the Earth was flat, that would be like one of the coolest things of my life. I mean, I can't think of like an accomplishment that would be bigger than that. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, oh, by the way, everyone is wrong, for real. You know what I mean? Like that's a pretty big accomplishment. So honestly, if it were true, or if it is true, who knows? Then great. But if it's a globe too, I have no problem accepting that. Now, another thing, just to kind of quantify where I stand. I don't trust NASA either. NASA has proven themselves distrusting or distrustworthy,
right.
And that's evident, that's very evident. But I just kind of wanted people to know my personal opinion, as well as we're just out there to figure it out.
Well, yeah, and this is what excited me about partnering with you
Yeah.
in this is because yeah, obviously Rick Hummer and I are quite biased on the flat side. Um, but
It's okay.
but
Everybody has personal bias. It's okay.
well, we do, and it's just because of the other tests that we've been doing
Yeah,
and that we've been
exactly.
observing and looking, and for the longest time I was like, look, I'm 80% there because there's
Yeah.
20 at least 20% of the whole thing that I still, even to this day, honestly, still have questions about.
Yeah.
But finally, when it was just a point of, okay, pick a side,
Yeah.
because I was getting it from both sides, for not committing, you believe in the globe or not, you believe it's flat or not, what are you? So I'm like, fine, all right, all right.
I'm sure I'm gonna get that too now that I've put that out there. So
well, but hey, this is what I liked about the group of people that were there, because you had people who were hardcore, people who believed in the globe. You had people that were, perhaps more like yourself, still being a zetetic agnostic like I was, testing things but having bias, and everybody came to it with bias. But I think there was a good representation of everybody, from hardcore globers to hardcore flat to people in between and just searching. And even, I don't know how much I've refrained from mentioning names because I don't want to
I totally
violate anything, but you feel free to say whatever you want. But as I understand it, at least 1, 2, maybe 3 of your friends that were there with us were the ones that put in the bulk of the money that made this possible.
Oh yeah, they did.
And they're not flat earthers.
No, absolutely not. But the thing is, they are absolutely. This is what's so great about them, is they don't care. And if it is flat, they're the exact same position I am. They're like, holy cow, like, okay,
that's cool.
Yeah, a great example, Rob. Like, you know how I feel about the moonlight stuff. I'm still going to do 2 more tests. But when we first went out, and we popped the drone up with a thermal camera on it, we were looking at a shed, all right, and the moon had just come out. And I'll never forget when we looked down and we saw this, what looked like a clear outline of moon shadow around the shed. Like, we just freaked out because it was the shadow was looked like the shadow was way warmer. And me and Josiah, because he's a friend of mine, he's one of the guys at Explosive Truth, he's one of my partners, he's a great guy. We both looked at each other and we just started like, oh my gosh, and we started running towards the shed as fast as we could. We couldn't believe it, and we got over there, and literally almost, it was about 6 inches from the edge of the shadow. On that side of the barn only was a bed of sand. And the sand was warmer than everything else around it. And I was so disappointed. I'll never remember feeling as disappointed. I was very disappointed. I was just like, oh my gosh, I really was hoping, honestly, that I could show that, because if that, again, it's always cool and it's always awesome to disprove the status quo. I love that concept, to say, hey, you guys are wrong. This is what's right. You know what I mean? And so I love that concept, but
Yeah. And to be clear, you approached me sometime, I want to say it was right around the time Rick and I did the Lake Michigan thing. And you said, listen, I want to raise some money. There's like 3 or 4 tests that I really want to do, laser tests across lakes, moonlight test, the balloon test, and 1 or 2 others, I think, gyro, related. And we are still intending to do those things. But what you brought to the table was a dimension of expertise and a lot of equipment.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Like cool toys, drones and infrared sensors, and because we were doing moonlight tests with the little handheld laser thermometer deal that you can check, like air conditioning vents with.
Exactly.
But you had stuff where you can like zero into the pixel, and determine temperature variance, and to view it in an infrared mode and whatnot. So
and to see it, and actually, let me share with you real quick. Let me pull some up so you can kind of see. I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview of what I've been working on for. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick.
While he's doing that, guys, this weather balloon thing is just one of several tests. We did a show that was a private Google Hangout with Victor, Rick, Bob Nodell from Globebusters, James Huppenthal, another guy who's got some great expertise in fine-tune measurements and things of that nature. That's brought a lot to the table.
Was Jaronism there? I couldn't remember.
No, Jaron, he didn't make it on that on
I
that
keep calling him
call.
Jaron. I just call him Jaronism. Is that wrong?
Yeah, Jaron Campanella is his. But yeah, he wasn't there on that call. But we had good 5 or 6 people on that Google Hangout, and we're just discussing the tests that we want to do, and we still got a lot of those left on the to-do list.
We do.
But everybody's sort of quietly doing their thing. I mean, I know Jaron and Bob. I don't know if they've done their launch yet or not. I knew they lost one balloon,
I
or at
think they
least the
did do
payload.
the. I talked to Bob about I think a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that, and I feel like he told me he did complete the launch, and something really cool they're planning on doing. They want to launch a balloon, and honestly, I want to do the same thing now that they said it, and they want me to as well because they want to have as much data as possible. They're going to launch 2 weather balloons from, I think he said Wyoming, during the solar eclipse, which is really exciting. That's
Yeah.
That's going to be so cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, a lot of people got their eye on that, and they want to.
Yeah.
You want to see what's going on, especially if we can see what's going on at 100,000 plus feet.
That would be really cool.
How cool!
All right, I just shared my screen with you, and
okay.
you guys are gonna love this.
Okay, yeah, this is cool.
So this is Brandon here, right? And he's got a 2x4, and that there is our giant Fresnel lens, and he's wanting to show. We're just kind of showing what this thing does, once you get in the beam in the sunlight. And so I'll kind of fast forward. I'm showing the lens, showing what's going on.
Was this at night or during the day?
This is during the day. This is right close to sunset, right before we begin the test, and I'll just play it now. Watch this thing burst into flames. I mean, it's just like you can see how hot that's getting. I mean, that is just ridiculously hot, and every single one of those pixels has a temperature value. That's what's so cool about it. And so you can just see that Fresnel lens, and that's a 2x4. That's a significant piece of wood.
Now look at the size of that lens. You pulled that out of a television, right? One of those big.
Yeah, Brandon, you should have seen it. I've got actually a video montage of him building that thing, and he did a great job. Built that thing, got it set up. I called up my old boss. I put it up on Facebook. I said, hey, someone got a giant old CRTV that I can have. We want the Fresnel lens out of it. Or maybe I didn't even say what we wanted. And my old boss from a coffee shop I used to work at, she was like, yeah, come pick it up. It's yours. And it was in their basement. It was this giant 65-inch TV. And it had to have weighed 120, 130 pounds. And we had to maneuver it around these 90-degree turn stairs, and me, Brandon, and Josiah, we're trying to haul it out of there. This was like 2 days before the first moonlight test. We really wanted to get it there. It was cool. I want to give you guys another sneak peek real quick. You guys are gonna love this stuff.
Now you're gonna put all this stuff up on your channel eventually. The
yes.
Explosive Truth, right?
Yeah. This is gonna be set up. This is a little documentary I'm working on about what we did here. I've got a clip of you here, Rob, talking about how we first met. So I hope you don't mind.
That's cool.
But anyway, where is it at? Let me see if I can find it. I want to show you the nighttime. This first test, A7S. So this is A7S, and look at how well you can see the stars of the A7S. Now this is bear in mind, this is at about ISO, I think 200,000, something like that. But that's moon shadow there that you can see, like directly in the moonlight. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I can mute this because it's really loud. I'm gonna scrub. So there's the stars. I don't know if you can see those.
Yeah.
But it's pitch black at night. There's no, and that red light is from the motor of the drone. So to quantify, this is where I live, but I live in the garage. FYI, we rent the garage. We don't own this. It's a beautiful house and it's for sale for anyone that.
Oh, wait a minute! I heard that we're all part of the Illuminati and we're on the Freemason payroll. So this is evidence. This is proof right here that
government agents have to eat sometime. Okay.
Yeah, Victor lives in a mansion, and I'm really a Hollywood producer. And George Lucas is my best friend.
Oh goodness! And this is a problem we kept running into was nighttime focus, because we change distances so often. So that's pure moonlight. Isn't that incredible?
Wow, that's cool. Well, to Rick Hummer's point, any photographer knows. I mean, hold that shot right there.
Yeah.
When we did the interview. Let me do my screen here to this one, I think. Okay, now I'm not sure. Okay, there's my screen. Okay,
Gotcha.
So Rick, he's just kind of running my camera, interviewing.
Yeah.
You talking to me.
Yeah.
See if I can get a decent shot of the side of my face here somewhere. I put a lot of B-roll in to just to cover, to show
Dude,
what I'm saying,
I'll tell you what, that was one thing me and Brandon and Josiah talked about is like we got to step up our game. You guys are seriously like a one-man film crew. It's ridiculous how well you guys film and how quickly.
Well, the way you got this set up, okay, you had a group of, these guys, they make movies. I mean, low budget independent feature films. So,
yeah.
The guys that were running the cameras and stuff, and they had a set up a few lights in that room. We turned off the overhead lights and we're using, studio lights, and they had a reflector. They didn't put a light directly on me. Right, they had a reflector that you can see the hot spot right here on this, piece of reflective material, and it's reflecting light onto my face. You have soft shadows. That's why a photographer uses a reflector, is because it creates soft shadows. Now, let's put yours. Can you put your screen back up that had the
yeah.
Now, yeah, okay. Now we're looking at a very hard shadow right there with solid straight lines. That is not what you would get from a reflector. People say the moon is reflecting the light of the sun. If the moon is a reflector, you're going to get diffused light. That's why photographers use, reflectors. They don't use a straight on light. You've got a really hard shadow right there, which is indicative of a light source, not a reflective source.
It's interesting. I'll tell you what, look at this. You'll like this too. Let me unlock this really quick, because this, when I play it in that, Premiere drives me nuts because I can't mute it in my preview screen in the drone, because we had, okay, that's an airplane going through the night sky, and I have a, do I have my proxy? Yeah, I've got my proxy on. Let's see, where is this at? Oh, I need to scale. Never mind. That's why.
Yeah, there's an idiot in the chat room. He trolls my page all the time. He said that we are, I don't know if he was referring to me or not, but it wouldn't be surprised if he is, saying that we're GoFundMe scammers. First of all, we never did a GoFundMe. Never asked for money. All the money that was contributed here either came from, ourselves or Victor's friends.
Yep,
we never did a GoFundMe. We never asked anything from anybody, but this is indicative of uninformed trolls who do nothing but, come on my YouTube channel and make unsubstantiated claims. So just to clarify that up front here. I don't know. These guys,
you want to know the worst comment?
Are such low lives. I mean, what this guy, he hates like everything I do, because he always comes and trolls and comments on every video I make. It's like, dude, get a life, man. I mean, if somebody I hate is out there putting out stuff, I don't even look at it.
You don't normally watch it, right?
I've got better things to do with my life, but this guy is such a anyway.
All right, so that's us there. That's our setup at night. There's the giant lens. One of the coolest things that I've ever done is try to burn something with moonlight with that lens. And I'm gonna save that footage. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna share that tonight because you guys are gonna love it. I'll send it to you. You can post it on your channel, Rob. But it is so cool looking. I've never seen concentrated moonlight like this. Have you ever read Lord of the Rings?
A long time ago.
Do you remember the Arkenstone? That Thorin wanted. That is exactly like literally when I saw the moonlight, the concentrated moonlight. That's all I could think of was like, that looks exactly how I imagined the Arkenstone, and I want it. It was so weird. It was so cool. So I can't wait to show you guys that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, anyway, that's a quick preview. I'm working on that right now, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to do tests, and like you said, you want to know a funny comment I got talking about trolls. the first thing, this is funny. This is a new YouTube channel. We put it up, and I've got a pretty thick skin. And it's so funny. This guy, I put up that balloon video, and first comment, man, it's like terrible music.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, okay.
Really?
I didn't even know what to say. I was like, okay. Sure. Great. It sucked, I guess.
There's some real winners out there, that's for sure.
Oh, and then another. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You can continue. I apologize.
Well, I'm glad you're showing this because
Yeah.
look, as opposed to the armchair critics out there who do nothing but like troll people's websites and videos that they hate
Yeah.
all day, we're actually out there trying to prove one way or another.
Yep. Exactly.
What we say we believe. If we say we believe this is true, then let's go out and test it.
Yep.
And that's all we're doing. And we've been completely open and transparent about everything we're doing. We're showing this to you live right now. We're showing you what we've tried to do. And Rick ran the whole thing live on his phone to show that we didn't. Even to the point where we're looking at the thing, where we're looking at the screen that's telling us, yeah, it reached altitude and it popped. Great. We jump in the truck, and kept the camera rolling live the whole time until we saw the thing falling from the sky 20 minutes later in this dude's wheat field. No, you guys, yeah, convenient. You lost the camera with the evidence. Whatever.
It is so funny. It's like, when I first looked up, as soon as I got out of the car, I looked at the basket and I felt my stomach just drop because I saw no gimbal. And it was a weird moment because everyone was really happy around me. And it was like this sudden wave of depression. It was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I mean, talk about kick in the gut, man.
Exactly. I was like, all I've worked for up to this point is just like floating down and it's gone, and Nathan's standing next to me. Nathan's a videographer that works with me. And he was awesome to be on site, and he did so much videography. We got so much good stuff. By the way, if you need more footage, you would not believe the amount of footage I have. I think I have over a terabyte from that.
I believe it. How many cameras did you have running there?
I think we had 6, 7 cameras running. It's not including the drones either, which is one of the coolest aspects of chasing that thing. But anyway, we're on site, and I look over at Nathan. You can hear me on the camera, and he's like, I said, you know what I don't see? And he's like, what? I said, I don't see a gimbal, man. And you can see it, like you could freeze. Well, actually, I don't think you could freeze frame on that. I don't think we had as close.
Well, yeah, the footage that I had, because Rick and I were. Let me see where it is.
It's so funny. The critics, of course, Brandon contributes the money, and then he's the one, of course, that goes out and gets it. And of course, he stole it.
Oh yeah,
of course, right?
Yeah, he ran out there, and then way out here, he ripped it off.
He ripped it out. He's like, I don't want to see it. Nope. Yeah. He's paying the money for this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. This is where. Let me see if I can share this with audio here. Let me see here. They circle back around to it. If this is showing where we started from, depending on the winds. I don't know how high it is. Though.
If it comes back down on that property, I'm gonna freak out on the last one.
It's gonna be funny, man.
I like the fast forward. It's hilarious. I think this town you're going through is Centerburg.
This is where it's
like, I think we're close to this.
You guys pull over.
Yeah. Hey, the best part is, by the way, guys, I made it.
Oh, Blue! It's there! Pull over!
It's driveway.
Oh, Jesus! Get out quick, guys!
I wish we could just have this on fast forward.
So that's, you can see in the top center there.
Yep, right there. I see it.
It's gonna be on those trees.
Out running! Yeah. See, the first shot that you saw was Rick. That was And then the second shot I cut to me because he was pointed up. So I pointed at the dudes running in the field, and then I looked up.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's not, I'm not shooting with 4 cameras or anything like that. So it's not like we could really zoom in on that. But it's coming down there.
That is, I mean, it was awesome. It worked, and it worked well. Even though it's surprising how well those shoots work, even with lines tangled.
That's where you were right here. You're like,
dude. Yep. I'm like, dude, nope, it sucks right now. Oh, and this video has really shown me how much weight I need to lose.
We always look at, like I just, after watching the footage of my stuff, I'm like, dude, put some Grecian formula on that beard, man. I'm like, what's going on with Santa Claus beard?
I went out and bought tacos.
Hey, Rick. Rick's here. Hey.
You did get tacos. I forgot.
Sorry. I was in the middle of a state park when you guys were trying to get a hold of me. I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
No worries.
We're just kind of talking through everything. So I want to go back to the lens thing here. So 4.3 we've already kind of ruled out for the obvious reasons of various distortions and things like that. Even though it's not a fisheye lens, you still have issues. the 5.4, now that has a 60-degree field of view, which I find interesting because I looked up the human eye field of view, and so that one is a 60. That is a 60-degree field of view, and this is
it exact? It is exact, isn't it? That's interesting.
It says field of view 60 degrees, and when I just did some search on, well, I'm not screen sharing here. There we go. Okay, so I did a screen share. I mean a Google search for you know, human eye field of view, and there's all kinds of charts and stuff you can look up. But this one was a really good one, and this is like our primary focus area, not counting our peripheral vision and binocular vision. Okay, so binocular primary area of focus is a 60-degree field of view. So the 5.4 has that, but we have an equivalent of a 30-millimeter lens there. So, you know, we're trying to find that. Well, okay, but the human eye is more like 40 to 50 millimeter,
and that's on distortion, I think. And you know, that's what's so interesting is like, so you've got, you know, this stuff as well as I do. You know, certain Hollywood producers, I forget the guy's name. I think Stanley Kubrick shot one movie all on a 35. The entire movie on 35 millimeter or something like that. I can't remember which, or 50. But there have been cinematographers throughout history that focus on 35 and 50. And it's because of the relation to human vision. I think 50 is the equivalent of zero distortion, is my understanding. Or as close to zero distortion as you can get. And I'm sure some videographer that's got more skill than I do, because I'm not perfect with this stuff. I know drones. I'm not, a super expert in cameras. But with the 35, like you're saying, the 35 is supposedly as close to the human vision as possible, 35 on a full frame. And so that's interesting, the 30, and like I said, I already have the lens. I mean, if we're running 3,
so I'm wondering if we put 3,
one of each. Yeah,
maybe do one of each for comparison, because, this is a 5.4 with it's a 30 millimeter lens, and the human eye is, really more between 40 and 50. But it has a field of view of 60, which is more comparable to, at least according to this, for binocular area of focus 60. We were, the 7.2 seemed like the happy, perfect, medium with all the variables. Considering the limited choices of lenses we have for a GoPro, it seemed like the best of kind of all worlds compromise, if you will, being 41 millimeter equivalent, and still, okay, 47, that's narrow. That's smaller than, it's less than 50. It's smaller than this for a binocular vision. For monocular, which is what we're using, one camera. If you're going up there with one eye closed, you
want to see something interesting. This is something else for down the road, because again, God willing, this is going to be the last balloon launch before we move on to the next test.
Yeah, hopefully when we got it.
Yeah,
First of all, guys, this is expensive.
It's really expensive.
Now, we did have, one of Victor's friends financed a lot of this, but look, he didn't pay for Rick and I to get there. Rick drove down on his own dime. I flew up on my own dime. We had to get hotel rooms, and there are other expenses involved. And a lot of this equipment was yours to begin with that you spent money on.
That's true.
So, I mean, lots of money goes into this.
People don't realize.
People are like, well, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? I'm like, look, I'm not contrary to the active rumor mill out there, I'm not independently wealthy, getting rich off of my alleged fame from Flat Earth. Which is just ridiculous crock.
So let me share you. One of the interesting things is that I'm trying to do, and I don't know if this will actually happen or not, but I have this company. He actually have 2 companies. I'm going to open up 2. Let me screen share with you again real quick. I am going to bog my computer, but it's okay. All right, did that work? Screen share. There we go. Okay. So there's that.
Did you get a haircut, man?
I did. Am I not? But you're seeing my old picture, man. That's like 10 years old. That's my handsome self before I got married. That's the guy my wife married at 142 pounds. That was my sling blade self.
Sling blade.
I know. I'm channeling my inner Sling Blade there. It's a little bit of.
Yep. Yeah, we'll go get a gimbal.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so this company here is a Chinese company that I have a really good relationship with, named Foxtech. And they might give us this gimbal to send to space. And this has a 10x zoom. It has a really interesting feature where it can be, what's the field of view on it? Let's see. And it's rated for like super cold temperatures. That's what's so cool. It's self-heating, and they want to see this thing go to space. They got excited about it. They're like, "Oh, you sent to space?" And I was like, "Yeah, I sent it to space for you." And they're like, "Let me talk with Inter management," and they're like really excited about this. They might
maybe they'll come over.
Get a sponsor.
Oh no, they won't come over. They'll get a sponsorship. I'll they'll sponsor us. I'll put their logo on there. But yeah,
Send me their logo. Send me their logo. I'll make you some T-shirts.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Then we'll really be bought out.
Yeah, right.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find the field of view on this lens. I don't know if I can. Where's it at?
I can't get past the Sling Blade comment, brother. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That was funny.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it.
You gotta get me one of them Chinese gimbals.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Near focus far. Okay, level.
Okay.
Let's see. Level range of observation. I don't know what that means. Okay, that means horizontal field of view. That's awesome. Level range of observation. Seriously, you got to translate. Level range of observation. 53 degrees near focus. 5.65 far. So when you're zoomed in, you're at 5.65 degrees. When you're zoomed out, it's 53 degrees. So
that's a good lens.
That's a good. That really zooms too. So it'd be really interesting to take that thing up, and you could zoom in on stuff. Have control.
I gotta say, this was the first time for us doing a balloon launch. For you, it's the second because you had the preliminary launch. I hear what you're saying, man. It's addicting, man. That was.
Dude, Rob,
it was a lot of fun.
I was just thinking that, like, I wish we were all together right now doing this again. I was just thinking that you said that.
It's fun.
Probably next week. That may be.
Yeah.
What happened?
So this is the other. This is the other company that's been flirting with me, and I really want to send one of these up.
Oh, dude.
This is the Insta360 Pro, and it shoots in 6K 3D.
Wow.
It's a droid.
And
that's a droid.
It is a droid.
Yeah, and they're talking about giving one to us.
Wow, dude.
So I know I sent them the balloon video. I'm like, hey, let me know what you think. Let's talk, And so I'm really working on these guys, seeing if they will, because they need promotion. This is a new company, and they really, honestly, they've been having trouble with some of their stuff, but they do have a good product. They've really been working hard. It's amazing, the interior stitch of this thing. So I'm really hoping at some point in the near future, past this next launch, after we get the laser test done, we'll do a couple more launches. And, honestly, I'm going to turn it into, I'm going to roll it into my business. My business is aerial photography. And, I'm essentially, in doing this, I'm also perfecting something for my own company at the same time. Honestly, that's one of the things we're going to do is we're going to, do a couple different aerial observation methods with these balloons for other companies. Not like super high or anything. I'm wanting to do tethered stuff. So
that would be cool.
I'm pretty excited about it. Because it's actually in the grand scheme of things for long duration observation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the military's doing it. Why not?
Did we lose Victor?
You there, Victor? You know what? He said it might bog his computer down.
Uh-oh.
Hey, on a side note, Rob, I met with my wife and I and our children met with another family that the balloon test brought us all together. They were right here in South Bend, had no idea.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool because you know how it is, man. You just don't know, and
yeah,
we just had a great afternoon/evening with these guys, and the kids ran and played, and to get with others that are, I don't even want to say like-minded, but they are like-minded, but it's a spiritual thing, man. I do believe that God is bringing people together that have been praying for others to have fellowship with, and we experienced it tonight for the first time, and I just thought, wow, how cool, man. And really cool. The girls are very similar in age, and then my wife and Dana are really kind of into some of the same things, and then obviously Ted and I really clicked. So what a cool night this has been.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know you were trying to get a hold of me, dude. There's no signal out at the park.
Yeah, that's fine. I just texted Victor to try to log back in again, so hopefully he'll be able to get back in, because a lot of questions. Still want to discuss some things on this for the next one, but
yeah. Is this being recorded? Are you doing this for?
Yeah, this is live, and there he is.
Oh, cool.
I'm testing the limits of my hotspot. I said, no, you cannot quit. Get up, soldier!
So here's the burning question on a lot of people's minds that saw the video, both live and in the edited version. Whatever happened with the drone footage? You were shooting a grid with the drone, trying to find the missing camera and gimbal.
And, on the first launch?
From the launch that we just did on the 12th. And,
yeah. Okay.
We lost the gimbal, lost the camera, but we had a general idea of where the balloon apparently popped. And so you had to explain what you were doing, and then what were the results of that?
Yeah, so essentially what we did is we did what's called a photogrammetry run. Oh, man. Did it?
No.
You're still hear me?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay, cool. I thought it crapped out again. What's happening is when people call my phone, it shuts off my hotspot.
Oh.
I was like, tell you, leave me alone! So
put it in airplane mode and keep your Wi-Fi.
Put it in airplane. Well, I can't. I don't think I can turn on the hotspot in airplane mode, can I?
I think you can.
Is it?
It'll probably bump you, I think.
I don't know. Anyway, long story short. So I'm doing a photogrammetry run. Photogrammetry run is where you fly a grid and you take hundreds of photos, and then you stitch those photos together into a map. And it's a super high resolution map. It's kind of like what Google and other companies do from whatever altitude they do that from. And they take, trillions of photos of the planet, and they stitch them together into something that, into a map for us. So anyway, what we do is we go out to farmhouses and do that, or properties or construction sites or whatever. So anyway, I did it over this area where we thought the balloon popped, and I started searching through, the whole thing, and I found one thing that looked like a camera and gimbal. And I sent Brandon out there. I asked him, I said, hey man, I know you're busy, but can you swing, because it's kind of out near where he lives. I said, can you swing by this person's house, because it's in their lawn, this object? And he did. And it was really weird. It was, at least from what he told me. She's like, that sounds real familiar. My kids picked up something out there, because he described it to her. He said, hey, it's a camera attached to like some black pieces of metal. She's like, yeah, it sounds familiar. Someone was laying in the yard yesterday, and some kids, picked it. You guys are still there, right? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. I'm not talking to just rattling. So anyway, she's like, yeah, that sounds real familiar. My kids picked up something. Let me look around. Hold on. And so she looked around. She came back. She said, yeah, I can't find it. I don't know where they put it. And he said, hey, here's my card. Give me a call if you find it. And she's like, yeah, it sounds so familiar. And then he left, and we haven't heard from her. So I to be honest, I've been so busy with work, I haven't gone back out there. But I do plan on going out there and asking her one more time and saying, hey, I'll give you some jack. Hey, woman, if you're looking for jack, I'll give you jack, and you give me the camera. It's pretty much what I'm going to.
Jack is a dog.
Jack is a dog. Jack Sprat, man, could eat all fat. That's me. So yeah, I really want to follow up on that. But after Brandon hit it, he said, hey, this is a weird situation. She seems kind of weird. She doesn't. He said she even said she has memory issues. So I don't know what that means. So maybe she didn't see anything at all. Who knows? But,
well, it'd be worth it to follow up. For sure.
Yeah. I definitely gonna follow up and see.
Do we need to dress up in black suits with sunglasses on?
Right.
Freak her out.
Yeah. That would totally freak. Yeah. So okay, so that's the deal with that. It's still unresolved. Although the drone footage, appeared to
There was
pull
something. There was something.
Something there. And it's strange that this woman said that my kids found something along the lines of what you described. So,
and it was gone because Brandon went to the spot and searched anyway, like before he talked to her. So he went out there where it was in the grass. He's like, it's not here, whatever it was.
Was there a crater?
There was no.
There was a perfect imprint, like a footprint in the snow.
He found some strange markings in Krypton.
Well, I mean, the thing fell from 118,000 feet.
It did.
Or somewhere in between there.
It did.
What was the speed it would have hit at? 120 some miles an hour?
I don't know, because that's the
terminal velocity.
That's terminal velocity of the human body, right? I mean, I don't know if I don't know what the terminal velocity is of a camera. That'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened with the? Why did the top camera crap out on us at about 45,000 feet or so?
So it's because we used a 3 instead of a 4.
A GoPro 3.
Yeah, GoPro 3s on that one. That was the one I threw on there. I threw 2 3s on there for consistency. My fear was I was going to put a 4 on there on top and then a 3 on the bottom. And so I was like, you know what? I have 2 3s, I have 3 4s, and I was like, let me just go with the 3s this time. But I forgot about there's this inherent problem with the 3s where, and honestly, I don't think the 4s have this problem, but the 3s definitely have this problem where if they're fully charged and you plug a charging cable into them, which I did with that one on top, it won't start sucking juice ever. It won't charge.
Yeah, because it says I don't need to be charged, so it doesn't turn the feature on to receive juice from the external battery.
Exactly, it doesn't start charging. So it basically just died because it got so cold up there. If the battery essentially froze. Now, if we had that plugged in, what we know from like hundreds of flights and our own GoPro footage, they don't freeze if you keep juice flowing into them. They stay hot. Charging heats up a battery. Mm-hmm. And the more resistance there is, the hotter it gets, which is really cool.
Well, I was going to ask you this because I had some issues with my GoPro 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And it kept overriding itself when I was trying to charge the battery. And reading up on it, you have to take the battery out, turn it on, and it will still have power inside the camera somehow. I don't know if there's a smaller battery in there or what, but it will turn on, and then you can plug it in.
Weird.
It resets it.
That's interesting.
My 3 kept doing that to me when I first got it. Back when it was, right as the 4s were coming out, I got a good deal on some 3s, and every single one of them did the same thing. I was having terrible recharging issues and battery issues with it, and I never did quite get it right, but I was able to pull the battery out, turn that power on with, I'm sorry, you have to have the cord plugged into the computer so you're charging it, and then the red light will come on, and then you shut it off again, and then you let it charge for like 5 minutes with no battery in it. And
interesting.
Then you unplug it and you put the battery. Yeah, you'll have to look it up. That's been 3 years ago, two or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and so honestly, this time I'm just going to run with all 4s. Excuse me. I don't want to.
Gotcha. I think we just lost him.
Oh no. You there?
I just wanted to throw that at him so he knew, Rob, because I had trouble with my 3. That's why I didn't even bring my 3 down, because I'm like, it's junk.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it's junk. It's just they're not reliable. That was not a good model.
Okay, I'm trying to get him to do it. I'm texting him. Try again. Yeah, still, well, are you there, Victor?
I think he dropped.
I think he's gone.
He may still be talking.
Yep.
Oh man.
Still.
What a cool, but Rob, well, I got this time because if there's people watching, I just want to say what a great experience. And it is not being cheesy. It was a true blessing. Like if somebody had told me 10 years ago that I'd be doing such a thing, I'd be like, why? Why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But just to see the people that the folks and just the messages I've received, even friends. I had friends at the car dealership that I do some marketing for. They were watching us live during the day. I'm like, how many cars did you guys sell that day? Like, not a lot.
We shut down businesses for 4 hours on June 12th across the world.
It was nuts. Great.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Man, I hope he comes back in. I still got more questions. about tracking and stuff like that. And well, maybe you can answer this. Is there a way to hook up a solid state drive to a GoPro? So like if we put a solid state drive inside the payload box, that the camera can record to the solid state drive. It seems to me you still need to have a computer interface of some sort.
I do not believe you can use a GoPro as an external camera. No, I don't think so. But that could be something in the newer models. I wonder if they've got that on the new 5 that's coming out. To where
I almost got a 5 the other day, man. I was so tempted. I'm still gonna hold off a little bit because
dude, don't buy that drone. By the way, don't buy that drone. I talked to Victor about him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I ended up getting the Mavic.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I got that, and I got that gimbal we were looking at for the mobile, the Osmo.
What was his problem with that other one?
They were the ratings and stuff that he said. It was just they don't. He's just stay away from the off stuff right now, and especially with the first model. He's like, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, well, that was my thought, is to wait. Victor, are you back?
I'm back.
Hey,
I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Let's try to get
Victor. Why was it that you told me not to get the Karma
drone?
The drone.
Karma drone.
Well, we not what? I'm sorry.
Remember when I called you the other day and I was looking at the drones to update, and you said don't get that Karma. What was you told me the reason that the GoPro Karma?
Yeah, so the GoPro Karma, you're kind of locked, right? In that you're locked with the wide angle, at least to my knowledge. I was just wanting to look at the Hero 5.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You said you can't change the lenses out, and that guy.
At least to my knowledge yet.
You can.
He confirmed it. He confirmed.
Yeah,
I'm getting that Mavic.
No, you can. Let me do a screen share here again.
You can.
I think.
Change those lenses
with the 5.
You just lose the waterproof functionality is the main thing after you change the lens.
Right.
Because it's native. Yeah, it's natively waterproof without it.
Right.
Yeah.
But these are your choices. You only get 2 choices.
Yeah.
You get a 3.37, no distortion, and a 8.25. And I was looking at the specs on it. Now the 8.25 is pretty good in the sense that it's a 47 millimeter equivalent. So that would probably be the way to go if we were to try to change out. Although and I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to here. Angle of view, it says 32 by 41 by 51 degrees. So I'm not sure exactly what that's telling me. But long story short, you can replace the lenses in the 5. This one was not a good choice. It didn't look like the 3.37. It's only a 19 millimeter.
Oh, I see what you're looking at. So these people. So it's interesting because I'm looking at Rage Cams. Those are the main people that I normally go to. I think Pew Pro. I don't know where they're at.
Well, you can. They are. I thought I saw somewhere where. I'm not sure.
I thought they were in Peru, honestly. Maybe just because their name.
Contact, maybe. San Diego.
Where are they at?
They're in San Diego.
In San Diego? Okay, cool.
Yeah, but
so
the 5 you can switch out the lenses, and actually with this company here, you can either just buy the lens.
They do it for you.
Yeah, you can buy the lens and do it yourself, or you can just have it remove the stock lens profile. And if you want, it says don't worry about sending your GoPro camera in to be mod. We'll sell new cameras with the lens installed. So if you want a GoPro with that lens, you just click there, and then they'll ship it to you.
But it loses the waterproof. That's all.
Well, some of them do because it depends on how much it protrudes out of the camera. If it's still within the tolerance of the cover, you won't lose the waterproof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The native waterproof. I mean, it does.
You got to reseal it though. Yeah, they're doing like this resealing thing for it too. I'm fairly certain because I know it's sealed somehow. Yeah. I think my can you still hear me?
Yeah.
My thing's getting about ready to get out. I can tell.
Well, I'm going to ask you before you do then. People, of course, in hindsight, we'd had no reason to believe we needed to put a tracker on the GoPro.
Yeah.
Because the preliminary test went as well as it did.
Mm-hmm.
So to ensure that we do better on this next one, obviously secure the gimbal
Yeah.
Is there a way to do it even better? You said you had some sort of zip tie in addition to the grommets.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're gonna do. Is I bought like these really strong zip ties. These essentially,
Okay, so that would
yeah,
that would
50 to 175 pound brake strength,
okay. So
riot cuffs basically.
so that should keep the gimbal attached a lot
Right.
more securely. I mean, there's
Yeah.
any variable of things could still happen, but are we thinking about putting like a dog tracker or a hunting tracker? I think Brandon was talking about trackers you can put like on arrows, like if you hit a deer and you can go find it.
Potentially, I'm gonna see if I can get one of those from Cabela's, and if I can, I will put it on there. Now, those trackers basically they work where you get in proximity to them, and then they alert you, which
So
are awesome.
we got to get somewhere close to it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little, still a little hairy, but we're still gonna have 3 redundant trackers on the main payload system, and I may even cut the whole thing out of carbon fiber as opposed to wood for extra security.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So we were discussing when you were offline there a minute ago.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have like a solid state lightweight hard drive inside that the camera can record directly to the hard drive?
We could do that, but the way we would have to do that is basically like a DVR, because you're running in feed. You know what I mean? That you can't. The only cable that allows the gimbal to continue to rotate freely is there's a video cable that goes up through. It's a really ingenious system where they have like these drags on it, but that's only going to record in SD anyway. It's not going to record in HD.
Is that Venus flytrap thing you were talking about?
Yep, it's really cool. It's amazing the way they've designed that to where it can rotate, can continue to rotate, and that's the whole advantage of the gimbal. Is even if there is some rotation, which God willing there will not be much on this next one since we're doing so much to prevent it. But even if there is some, that gimbal will counteract it, and it'll hold stable. Now, one of the things that I had seen a couple complaints about on, of course, the trolls. Of course, they all know better, and that's okay.
Right.
Sure, they know better. But one of the complaints was, hey, this footage isn't even that level. Well, that's not the point of the gimbal. The gimbal itself, there's always going to be some degree. Brushless gimbals inherently, they have a flaw because the accelerometer has some sort of tie back to a barometer. And I don't understand. I personally don't understand. It gets into the coding, and it as the pressure changes around it, it rolls slightly, and so you're going to get the whole thing is its pitch. It'll hold the pitch, really well looking straight forward. It'll hold that pitch looking forward if we want it to. If we point straight forward, it'll look forward. However, it might be rolled slightly, and so that horizon is going to have a very gentle slope of about 1.8 degrees, anywhere between 0.8 and 2.8 degrees.
Well, but at the resolution we're shooting, that is really easy to correct in Premiere. Do a 0.1 rotate or something if we have to.
Exactly, and I couldn't believe people were complaining about that, saying, "Oh, you can't even hold the horizon level, and yet you're going to tell us you're going to predict what we're going to see." That was the comment I got, and it's like, okay.
Well, hey, this is what the whole point of the interview you did with me. When we're talking about the goals of our high altitude balloon test, from the start, we're like, look, it doesn't matter what we do. I mean. It doesn't matter. There's going to be 50 to 100 but trolls that are going to show up, and it doesn't matter the results. We could have the most perfect flat horizon, and there's still going to be people going psycho. We could have the most perfect curvature with a human eye that could ever be seen, and you're still going to have people going. It doesn't matter what we do.
Well, it's like when you typed purple one day on your Facebook.
Yeah.
You wrote purple, and I was tempted to write, "No, dude, it's red and blue."
Right. Right. Yeah. So that's look. I'm not trying to appease them.
No, I totally get it.
I just want to do the
science.
I just want to do the best we can do with the abilities in the equipment and the resources that we have.
Yeah.
And so we learned from the mistakes of the previous one, and that's what you do with science. You make mistakes and you learn from them. So
there's are you guys familiar with Jonathan Colton?
No.
Nope.
He's a really good musician. He's got some really funny songs. He's got great hits such as Tom Cruise Crazy. There's this one though, Jonathan Colton. If you type it in. Hold on, Jonathan. I want to say the name of it correctly.
Tom Cruise crazy. That does a lot. That must be inspired
It's a great song
by the Oprah show.
It's one of the funniest songs I've ever heard. He's basically like a sci-fi songwriter. Are you guys familiar with the older now video game Half-Life or Half-Life 2?
No.
He wrote music for that. It was called Still Alive, and it's kind of about doing scientific experiments. It's really, really good song. Little rabbit trail.
Yeah, we could easily go into nerd talk here for
nerd talk. Here goes
nerd talk. So
hang on, let me get my pocket protector.
So the 10-day forecast is looking pretty good for another window.
Yeah, let me pull it up while we're still on the phone. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't looked at it for about 2 days. Last time I looked at it, though, actually, no, Mike looked at it yesterday because, we're always checking it for drone stuff. And actually, we were both coveting Wednesday, and I was coveting Wednesday for other reasons than work. I had to let him know that. I was like, hey, I know you want to do that solar field inspection that day, and I know I'm supposed to be there, but
I got
can I go fly a balloon?
We got to do another episode of balloon pictures.
I know we've got like this really big job that
pays money, that actually pays money,
but can I go fly a balloon, please?
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty. But he's like, absolutely. I seriously have like the best business partner in the world. He's like, yeah, man, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're thinking possibly Wednesday then as a.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's going really slow right now because
this Wednesday or next.
Coming up next Wednesday.
This Wednesday. So when are you coming in, Rob? Are you flying into Columbus then?
Yeah, that would be the plan. Yeah, for sure.
This Wednesday. So the nice thing is Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday looks amazing. Thursday, I mean, if we had to, we could do it in the morning on Thursday. But actually, Thursday might be really cool. I've been tempted ever since we started this. I really want. That's pretty windy. Or Thursday's pretty. Wednesday's our day.
Okay.
Wednesday's our day.
So I got to shoot on Tuesday, and then are you thinking Wednesday morning or Wednesday what time?
Yeah, early morning.
Wednesday's pretty good. Yeah, Wednesday's pretty good the whole day, but if we can do the early morning, that'd be good. I mean, we can push it off a little bit because let's see, it's 4 mile an hour at 8 a.m. It's 5 mile an hour at 9 a.m. So we're still good. It starts to climb after that, but it's clear all day. It's clear 79. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be perfect.
79. Yeah, because it was hot, man.
Dude, it was 93 that day.
It was hotter in Ohio than it was in Dallas that day.
Yeah,
it was really hot. So
storms that came in were nuts after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, you drove through them, didn't you, Rick? I forgot about that. You drove through some bad storms.
I went through a wall of water. Literally.
That's cool.
Like you couldn't see more than 200 yards ahead of you.
That's crazy. Yeah. So I'm thinking Wednesday's a day.
Okay. And do we have a better box or a different configuration?
Same exact style of box, but we're going to use the big fins, and I'm probably going to do carbon fiber plates. I'm going to have Jim cut them for top and bottom. They should be lighter and a lot stronger.
What about bolts? What about bolts with a nut rather than just screws?
Bolts with, you mean for the gimbal itself?
Yeah.
Well, the gimbal actually never gets any bolts at all, even on drones. The gimbals pretty much get rubber grommets. So what I'm doing is I'm just going with the riot cuffs, and that should hold. There's no way that thing will break off.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're looping the riot cuffs through the
grommets. Yeah, and if if that tears loose through carbon fiber and riot cuffs, I mean, I'm just gonna give up.
Well, then we'll know that the NASA confiscated it in their high altitude weather balloon station.
It was a balloon abduction.
A balloon abduction.
You know what?
You see a larger
we're all going to have to get
Google balloon.
We're going to get fingerprinted before this goes. Everybody there will get fingerprinted, and then we'll dust this thing when we're
done. There we go. Make sure there's no foreign prints on it.
Foreign prints. That's hilarious.
Do you think that if we could have a smaller box that would cut down on weight? we can do some more.
Well, I'm planning on like not doing the same live broadcast. I'm planning on not doing that giant setup. What I want to do is just a really simple 5.8 gigahertz setup, which is what I did on the original test. That'll give us about 5 miles worth of view, so we'll just know it's going well. And then basically after that, we won't have any footage. So we're gonna go with a lot.
Man, I was hoping we'd do it again to be able to do the live.
The live.
That's what
the live footage was huge, man. People loved it.
The live footage.
I was thinking, Victor, if we could do that, what we could do is we could designate one Facebook Live channel. If somebody could let us use their phone. One Facebook Live channel would be the live feed, and have the phone set up right in front of the monitor. In case.
I gotcha. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't have to necessarily do the live feed through, like what we were trying to do originally.
Yeah. The only thing is that so the box itself actually doesn't. I mean, like if you get a smaller box, it doesn't shift the weight that much. That's the frustrating thing. And this is the other thing that's important when we're broadcasting with APRS for tracking. The reason why I went with that size of box was to keep the antennas separated. Gotcha. So I wanted the APRS antennas on one side, and I wanted the 900 on the other side, and the 433 on the other side. That way they weren't, because if you do get an antenna next to each other, even if it's a completely different frequency, there's going to be noise and crossfeed, and it's going to jack with it. So that's why we can't really shrink the box down. And even if we did, it wouldn't change the actual payload weight that much. What really would change our weight is if we did go without the live. But my plan was to go with the live for a short distance. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we'll still have the altitude.
I'm throwing that in there. If there's anything I can do to help make that live happen the whole way, because I'm sorry, man, we were live.
That was awesome. It was
91,000 feet, man.
It was pretty awesome.
91,000 feet on a live shot with a freaking.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I can find a patch antenna that we can use, as opposed to the Yagi, because the Yagi was too directional. I didn't like how that operated. So if we can do like a patch antenna on the 900, I'll see if I can get one.
Send me the schematics of that. Send me what we need, and I'll dig around up here where I'm at too, with all the radio TV
for sure
geeks I've got up here.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, it's basically like a plate. Let me see if Ready Made has one actually. It's basically like a plate it's a 3-turn. I think you could do like a 3-turn helical patch or something like that.
Okay.
Actually, I'm lying. Those are two non related terms. I'm mixing terms now. Can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of breaking up on my end.
Obviously, it's not a high priority as far as what we need, but it's something that's way
that's the added value.
Because wow, there was a lot of excitement.
It was awesome.
Just checking that.
You want to know what's funny? Is one of the guys there? Did you guys meet? I won't say a name because I don't want to embarrass somebody. But there was a guy there that kept telling people that I could not do that and that it was fake. He basically was saying you can't live broadcast that far. That's not possible. You can't do that.
And there we were doing
it. He was telling people that no, you were wrong. You can't do that. That's not true.
And he was there with us?
I was like, nah, bro, this is how it works. I promise you. It's okay.
He was there with us that day?
Yeah, he was there. He was telling me, no, you can't do that. No.
And then when he did it, what did he say after that?
He thought it was pretty awesome.
He's like, wow.
Wow, I guess you can do it. Yep.
I get yep.
Sure enough can.
That's pretty much it. All right, hold on. I'm looking at this thing. Here's a tripod mount, and it looks like it might just be the mount, but I'm gonna look up 900 megahertz patch.
I can't believe.
All right, guys. Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I better get off here, honestly.
Okay.
And it's getting like my wife's gonna get pissed at me, but it was great. It was great talking to you guys, and look forward to doing it this week. It's gonna be awesome. And
all right, well, there we go.
Can't wait, man.
Hopefully we've answered some questions, and hopefully we've learned some lessons from the previous one, and won't make the same mistakes. Right. We'll do a better launch.
Exactly.
All right, man.
Exactly. Cool. Hey,
yeah,
Rob,
absolutely.
Give me a call when we get off.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, we'll do.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Victor. Thanks, Rick. We'll talk soon.
Okay, guys.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye.
Right. God bless. See ya.
See ya. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you back next time. See you later.